Bonjour mesdames et messieurs, welcome in this video. In this video, we are going to use Unreal Engine 5, a complete free software. And even if you have never done any 3D in your life, you are going to be able to do this. All right, so this is an absolute beginner tutorial. You have never done 3D in your life. You want to create cool stuff. This is a perfect tutorial for you. This tutorial is fully chapter, meaning you can jump on any section. For example, if you know how to install Unreal Engine, you can just directly jump into the projects. Now, a little warning, for this project, I created a special dune for this Star Wars scene, and I used Open World. Open World is an amazing paid software, which is really cool. So I created the dunes that goes with the project. And I also got from Sketchfab some amazing Mandalorian, Spaceship, and model. All the shout out in the description of this video. I converted all these models into Unreal Engine and I retexture them for you with the dunes. It's better if you just download the starter project that's just right under the video. Also, I did a full-on masterclass with everything I know about Unreal Engine and also using Photoshop to create some cool projects so you can take anybody in photo, create a really cool background. The sky is the limit. If you really want to master Unreal Engine, get my masterclass at a special price because you're watching this video. The link is only under this video. Let's get started. I hope you're going to enjoy this ride. I love creating 3D. You know, after trying Blender for many years, which I love, it was just taking so much to create incredible stuff. With Unreal Engine, it's so fast. This whole creation I could have done in 15 minutes if I was not doing a tutorial on it. So let's get started. First, you go to unrealengine.com and you come to this website and you have to create an account. So you can go just to sign in. What I advise you to do is sign in with Epic Games. If you don't have an Epic Games account, you can sign up here. I already have an Epic Game account, so I can just sign in. Once you've signed in, so this is my account, PhotoSurge. Once you're signed in, you can just go to download and you have to download what they call the Epic Game Launcher. It's as simple as that. I remember that Unreal Engine is totally free. I think you start paying when you make like over $1 million or something. You see, Unreal Engine is free to use for creating linear content like films and for custom and internal projects. It's also free in many cases for games development. A 5% royalty only kicks in when your title earns over $1 million. So you are good to use this until $1 million. And if you're doing a game, if you're just doing graphics like I'm doing now, you're totally good. So let's open Epic Launcher. So first thing first, go to library and you need to install the engine. So you're going to go to engine version. You click on plus. By default, it's going to take the oldest one, I think. And you just go to the latest one, which is, in my case, it's showing me this ones because I've already installed all of that. So, but choose, what you want to do is choose the latest, the highest number, 5.0.2, 0.3, whatever you got going on at this time. Make sure you see, I actually have a little update to do, which I'm going to do now. So I'm going to go do the update. That's going to take a little bit of time. You want to make sure you always have the latest engine and the latest update. That's very important. So you see, I've updated and now I'm at 5.003. It's always good to have the latest version. Okay, whatever it is, it might be 1.1 when you're watching this video. Okay, so now instead of launching a new project, which we could do from here, we're going to take something that I've prepared for you because I made a special Star Wars asset for you. So you see here on my desktop, I've got this file called Star Wars asset.zip. You can download that file under this video. It's important for this tutorial to download the file. You subscribe to my daily newsletter when you do that, just so you know. You can unsubscribe at any point, but I have some really amazing course for you if you want to learn Unreal Engine. So desktop, you just double click on Star Wars and you can go extract. I'm going to extract everything. Let's just extract everything on the desktop, for example. So I'm going to extract everything. And this has a special, it's got a couple of things for you. Mostly it's got the Mandalorian that I found on Sketchfab. And you have the reference, the artist who created this. I have a shout out on him under this video. I had to convert his creation over to Unreal Engine and redo all the texturing in Unreal Engine. So that's so it's kind of his creation with mine, and I'm giving it to you for free, so you can just play around with Mandalorian. So yeah, see the shout out that's under the video for who created this originally. So now I'm here on my desktop. I got this folder called Star Wars Assets, and so if you click on, you have to click Star Wars Assets, And then you have this thing here called Star Wars Assets Project. And that's an Unreal Engine project. You double click on it and it's going to launch this project, which has some special surprises for you to start with. Okay, here we are. Have a complete empty project, which is amazing. We're going to start from scratch. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a level. Okay, so how do you create a level? Because this is a game engine after all, except I'm using it to create graphics, but it's a game engine. So you go to File, you go New Level. Pretty straightforward. You have different options here. The one you want to go for is Empty Level. Let's just make it easier for you guys. This is an absolute beginner tutorial. We go for Empty Level Create, and we have a black world. We can create anything in this world because it's complete black. We can play God and turn on light, which is the first thing we're going to do. So you're going to go to Windows, and you're going to go to Environment Light Mixer. And what Environment Light Mixer is all the different steps you need to do to create your own world. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click here on Create a Skylight. So the skylight is really what's going to be. It's going to be like our atmosphere. Okay, it's going to be, actually the skylight is more, and I'll show you that in a second, what we call indirect lighting. So meaning like, you know, what do you see in the shadows kind of thing. So we're going to create that and create as atmospheric light 0. Let's create that. Light 1 we don't need. And as soon as you click, it goes away, it takes you to the next button. Create sky atmosphere, yes. Create volumetric cloud, yes. And create height fog, yes. And voila, we have our world here ready for us. So to be able to move around this world, you just right click on your mouse and you can drag and drop. It's going to rotate. And I'll show you some other things. But we can look at this and check this out. If you press Control and L and you hold down on the Control key, you can move around the sun. And you have the clouds, and there are like 3D clouds. It's already looking great, like with 5 clicks. I love it. I love it. Okay. So to be a little more organized, you see now we've added a direction light. So let's look item by item. What is a direction light? Look, before, after. The direction light is the sun, okay? So we're going to keep it that way, but it's just the sun. The exponential height fog, I hate when they use these fancy words. It's just a fog. Without fog, with a fog, without fog, with a fog. The sky atmosphere is the sky atmosphere. It's basically the haze that's up in the air. The skylight is, we'll see that later, that's indirect lighting, meaning, you know, when you want to see what's in the shadows. And the clouds, the volumetric clouds, volumetric means that there are actual clouds in 3D before and after. And voila, that's it. So all of that, okay, we're going to select all of that, and we're going to put this, very important step, right-click, move to create a new folder, and let's call it Lights. Let's call it Lights. Let's be crazy, guys. Let's call it Lights. Okay, so we have that. The next thing I want to do is create my dunes for my Star Wars scene. So I'm going to go to the landscape mode. Landscape mode is made to create a landscape. Now, there is 2 ways to create a landscape in Unreal Engine. You can sculpt it, or you can use a software called Open World, which is a little costly, like I think it's 200 something. And you can create really easy words with that, which is what I did for you. So I created a world, which I'm giving you for free, that I created an open world. Because the only other option you have is to sculpt the dunes, and it's never very accurate. Open world is so much better. You know, maybe Unreal Engine is going to have a real open world kind of software to create landscape one day. Right now it does not. So what you do is you go import from file, and I have another file for you. Okay, so I made a file for you that you can also download as part of this, the link under the video. In fact, it will be in a zip file. I forgot to update it, but you will have it. It's going to be in the zip file there. So you click on import. I put it on my desktop. So import from file, and you click here. It's called a height map file. So what is a height map? It's only information giving to create a landscape. It's, you know, how high do you want the dunes to be, you know, basically the whole texture, the whole creation of that has been done, again, in open world. So you just click on this. I have it on my desktop. It's called Dune 2 Raw. Raw is just a format that's being used for this kind of data, okay, coming from open world. And you click on it, and then you click on import. That's all. It's 2 steps. And in 2 steps, mesdames et messieurs, you're about to have dunes made for you. So the only problem while it's creating the dunes, let me explain to you this. Basically, what's happening is the dunes, it's kind of like a low resolution, dunes basically. So you see there's like big squares, and right now this dune is not very visible because it's got no texture. So now let me show you how you move around in this world. So you right click and then you press Q to go down, E to go up. And so I go up, and here is my dunes. But right now they look like nothing because there's no texture on it. So how do we add textures on dunes? How do we make it like real dunes? Well, thank you for asking. So all you have to do is you go back here to the select mode and you right click anywhere here. Okay. Oh, by the way, if you don't see the content browser, maybe is because sometimes the content browser is not there. So you click it here and it goes away. So I like to dock in layout. So I like to always have it here. Okay, if it's not there, again, you just click here, dock in layout. Okay, now what you do is you right click anywhere and you go to add Quixel content. So Quixel is a company that created over 116 assets. They basically have photographers from all over the world taking photos. Like they will take like 200 photos for one tree, and they create like objects like Lego you can use. You have to log in with your your password. So log in with the same password you downloaded Epic game. So now I'm logged in. Okay, once you're logged in, you can. This thing is so amazing. So you can go, for example, to collections. You can go to, let's go to environment. Let's go to natural, and let's go to something like kind of a desert. So what would be desert? Canyon of Utah, for example. No, limestone quarry. Limestone quarry is more of a desert, and you can see all these things we can play around with in our creation. I mean, imagine the work it takes to just make one rock. Sometimes it takes 100 photos into a software, and it's all free for you. It's crazy. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take that off, and I'm just going to click desert or dunes. Dunes, like the movie, Dunes. And you see here, what you see in round are surfaces, meaning they are made for like landscapes. So I want the ripple sand. So I'm going to click here and make sure I'm going to take the highest quality. Now I have a 3090 NVIDIA card, but I've tested this on an RTX NVIDIA 1080, I think it was. Like it's $100, $200 card you can find, and it worked perfect. So you just need to get like a good NVIDIA card for this to work really well. I'm going to take the highest quality. If your computer is slower, you can take the lowest quality. I'm just going to take the highest quality, so I'm going to download it first. So the first thing it's going to do, it's going to download. And I have a pretty fast internet, and highest quality is going to be big. It's going to be a big file, and so, but you want to get the best possible assets. So, and all of that. So once it's downloaded, which is here 100%, you just click on that little blue arrow, and that's it. And and you go back. So to go back, the best thing is to minimize that window, and you're back in this world. And now you see we have a new folder here called Megascan, and it's got a surface, and with surfaces, and within surfaces, it's got this ripple sand effect, which you can see here. This is the different things that makes the texture. All you care is that little round thing here. And sometimes you're not going to see if you have a bit of a slow computer, the dunes is not going to appear. It might be black, but it still works. So the next thing you want to do is choose your landscape. And here in the landscape, when you click here so remember we have the light folder with all the lights, and we have the landscape we created, which we can call dunes. Well, let's just leave it at landscape. You click on this, you got the property inspector, which is, don't get overwhelmed by all these settings. We're going to use very little. And to get started and create amazing things, you only need to know very little. But what you want to do is go to landscape material. You see it says landscape materials. So you can just go through that checklist. Oh, little trick. If you cannot find landscape material, just type it here. Landscape. And it's going to appear here. See landscape material. If I type landscape material, boom, you see I have it here. And all you have to do is drag and drop this into a landscape material and wait for it, and the sand is going to appear. Just let's move around in our world. So E to go up. Okay, let's see here. E to go up. So my camera is a little slow right now. I want to speed these things up, so I'm going to make it a little faster. You can go here, and let's go. It's just to move around faster. So, and then to move forward is W is to move forward, and then you can rotate with the right key, and now we have sand. So now let's find something cool. Let's explore our world and let's find something cool where we can put the Mandalorian. I love to have leading lines. So let's go much faster. Let's go like 8 on this camera. So if you go 8 on the camera and you go like, you press E. So E, you go up, Q, you go down, D, you go left. It's like video games, you know. But you have to be careful because it's low resolution. If you get like really close, you will see some of the you know, the pixel. It's going to be big pixelated. So that's the end of our world. I don't want that. So you know what I'm going to do before I find the right angle? I'm going to go to light and I'm going to turn off the fog. That way I'm going to see way better, you know, what's going on. Look at this. I'm flying over. So W to go forward. I'm looking for something nice to place our hero, the Mandalorian. And then, yeah, you see the resolution is a bit low sometimes. But that's fine. I'll show you a little trick to get around. Ooh, this is kind of cool. This is kind of cool. And I like to get really close because he's going to be very, very close. So something like that, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, something like on the edge. And don't worry about this blackness because, look, the fog is going to take care of that. Fog is going to replace this with fog. So we're kind of good. We're kind of good. No, this is kind of cool. Okay, it's too fast now, so I have to lower my speed. And then I'm pressing E to go up. Yeah, I'm pressing E to go up. And another trick is, as you sort of like press, okay, 2 is too slow, so maybe let's go like 4. Yeah, it takes a while to find the right angle. I want to get really close to the sand. Look at that. When you get really close to the sand, it's kind of cool. Yeah, something like that. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, look at that. You have to get, you see, if you go, okay, let me slow down this camera a lot. If I go too much up, you're going to see the repeating patterns, right? Which we can handle. There's ways to handle it. But look at that. If you go down, you see less of repeating patterns. And voila, I kind of like that. I wanted to have a little, maybe an edge or something. Let's see here. No, but you see that edge is too low resolution. So maybe let's move forward a little bit. Yeah, it takes a bit of time to find something that's kind of cool. But yeah, I kind of like that. I hate that edge is very low resolution. So that's kind of annoying. So let's see, because it's not always like that, but it's fine. Let's move a little faster. So you can also, what you can do is you can press the middle mouse on your keyboard. And yeah, okay, I kind of like that. This is kind of cool to me. And then you can position the sun how you want. Control L, and remember you stay on control. Let's find where the sun is. Come on, where are you, sun? Here you are, my sun. Hey, sun. And what you can, one thing I like to do when I position the sun is I take out the volumetric clouds. This way I can see the sun better because sometimes they hide behind the clouds. So let's do it again. Control L. All right. Here, okay, see, that's the sun. Okay, I want to get like a really dramatic lighting. Something like that. Okay. I kind of like that. That's really kind of cool. And if you turn back the clouds, you see it's kind of hiding that, but it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. Okay, now let's go and to search assets, Mendo for Mandalorian, and you will see here you have a Mandalorian. So let's drag and drop the Mandalorian here. Look at that, boom, and it's already right there. And by default, so to rotate something, you press E for rotate, which makes no sense. Should be the R, and then you can rotate. On any axis by just using the mouse. And by default, it's rotating with a 10% increment, which can be a bit annoying. You see, it's 10%. So if you can change it, or you can take it off. If you take it off, you can rotate without any, 10% increment. I like to leave it on for rotation. It's cleaner. It's here. It's cleaner, 10%. You can go 5%, so it's a little smoother. Okay, and then if you want to move something, you press W. W, like this is really what you need to remember, W. Now, the Mandalorian's got what we call like a V pose. The V pose is, what V pose mean is it needs to be animated, and we will do that in 1 second. But first, I want to play with this shadow. You see, I don't like where my sun is because the shadows are not in the proper place. So let's play God again, press Control L. Make sure your finger stays on control.
And I want to see if I can put the sun behind him to have a long shadow. Where are you, sun? Hey, sun. It's very, yeah, you have to move around. Move around. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to take out the volumetric clouds for now, just so I can see things better. And then, yeah, here's my sun. So if I put, yeah, you see what I mean? I want to play with this, something like that. Yeah, like very dramatic shadow. Like, boom. Very dramatic shadow. And then I can turn back on the clouds. Okay, that's pretty cool. And so the cloud itself, you know, we can play around with the clouds. So remember last time we typed landscape material because we wanted to get that setting. So now we have nothing. We have to take that out. And on volumetric clouds, we have a few settings. Layer, button, altitude. Just play around with that and see what it does and see if it's something that you like. I kind of don't like the fact that I lost the cloud. So maybe like this. Layer heights. Let's see what's going to happen there. That's how thick the clouds are. I want the clouds bigger for sure. And yeah, that's kind of cool. Then you can go to sky atmosphere. And then you have some, these settings are like very powerful. So you have to be very careful. There's one called relay. Relay, check this out. If you move relay, you move around. And it's going to make things, it basically takes the pollution, it's the density of the air. So if you add more density, you get more colors. So that's, and if you want to put back by default, you've got a little arrow. So let's move it a bit. It's 0.03. Let's try 0.05. Boom. Yeah, let's make it a bit warmer. 0.1. Let's go crazy. 0.1. Ooh, I like 0.1. 0.1's good. So big shadows. Boom, we've got the Mandalorian there. And then now we can move the clouds even more. You know, layer. Yeah. Now you see the clouds is hiding. Try to get something nice. I want to see the sun. So you see the sun is very small. So one thing you can do, you can go to direction light. And we're going to pretend it's a world where the sun is big. So let me turn again the clouds out so you can see what I'm doing. So now I got the sun. And you can go here. So I'm on the sun. And I'm going to go and I'm going to California. No, I'm going to go to source angle. Look at that, source angle, and boom, I'm making a big sun. Yeah, source angle is basically the size of your sun. I want a big sun. And voila, now we got a big sun, and then we can go back on the clouds and just play around with the clouds. It's really a lot of trial and error process. But the clouds are moving. You see, they're moving in real time over the sun, which is kind of cool.
Oh, just one favor, guys. One thing that helps me the most is that if you can just take 1 second and like this video, and also if you can share it to somebody who you think is going to like this, you know, it really helps me being able to create these long form tutorials free for you. So if you could just take 1 second and like it and share it, it means the world to me. Of course, if you did not subscribe to the YouTube channel, please do so. Let's continue.
Okay, so now that's my basic setup. I really like this. I want to add a camera and start creating my graphics. So for this, we are going to add a camera. Okay, so to add a camera, we go here on this little icon and we create what we call a level sequence. A level sequence is supposed to be like an animation, like a movie. So, and we're going to do movie because we can. Add level sequence. Let's call it Star Wars. And you have to do the voice. Star Wars. Or you can do it French, Star Wars. Okay, so now we have we have our sequence. It's basically like, you know, like iMovie, Premiere Pro, DaVinci Resolve. It's a little, you know, editor. Then we're going to create a camera. Yes, sir, we're going to create a camera. Boom. And now, as soon as you create the camera, you can see what the camera is seeing. And it's a lot too much zoomed in. I want to go back to what I was. So the first thing you do is you create on camera, you click on camera component, and you go here and you choose DSLR. Because if you choose DSLR, it's gonna match your camera, you know, what you're used to in terms of lenses. And I'm at 35 millimeter. I think I want to go to 24. I want to go to 24 to go a little wider. Yeah, that's kind of cool. And then you can position the camera holding the, as usual, the right mouse. And then Q, go up, E, go down. And then, you know, of course, at this time, you want to go like micro adjustment. So you want to go like really. Anyway, we're going to make an animation also. That's kind of cool. So we're going to make an animation. Okay, I kind of like that. And you see here we have a little symbol that's, if you find it, I know when you can press G for game. So it's all the game assets. So G, I'm just going to take it off. And I like the sun behind him. So, you know, maybe not totally behind him so that we have a bit of space. Let's think in terms of rule of third. You know, rule of third. So maybe we can move the Mandalorian a little bit like that. A little bit like that. Okay, yeah, something like, oof, I like this image. It's getting really good. The problem is that he's completely silhouetted, which is kind of annoying, but we will deal with that in 1 second. So the first thing is, let's make our friend move a little bit. So I have within that actor. So we need to drag and drop our Mandalorian, which is here. We need to drag and drop him here in the timeline. And now you see Mandalorian. Okay, simple, right? And then the next thing you need to do is you go to track, animation, and I've got a beautiful walking animation for you that's in there. And you look at this. And now, when you press the space bar, he's walking. But he's walking. So this is our animation over time. I want to make the walking all the way. And check this out. So you go at the beginning and you press play. I press play with a space bar. And he's walking, which is kind of cool. But he's walking and not moving, which is kind of weird, right? So let's go at the beginning and let's add a keyframe on. So you see, here's the Mandalorian, okay? And here's our camera. It's called Cinema Camera Actor. It's kind of weird name, but it's just a camera. Okay, you open this with the little disclosure triangle and you go, mesdames et messieurs, you go and transform, okay? Let's say he's going to start here. So you see here, if you press here, you're going to add a keyframe. So I'm going to click here, boom. It's a keyframe. You can see that's a keyframe there. It's a little round. And then I'm going to go to the end of my animation, even after that, right? And I'm going to take the Mandalorian, and I'm going to move him. I like the idea that he's coming like that. We're going to move him coming like that. Like, let's make a really cool animation like that here, okay? And so let's add, here it says keyframe. On Mandalorian, so we have to open the Mandalorian because it's the transform of the Mandalorian you want to do the keyframe on. Oh, I did the keyframe. Oh, big mistake. You see, that's a mistake you're going to do. I keyframe the camera instead of keyframing the Mandalorian. So now he's there. So I have to go back to my beginning, and that's a mistake I do all the time. And if I do it, I have a big guess you will do it. Oh, I went further. Come on. Where are you? So that's kind of funny. Sometimes you lose your character. So you can just do like any software, Command Z until he's back in line and just go slower. Let's move him here. Yeah, let's move him up. Okay, and we need a starting point for the gentleman. So you can move, sometimes it's annoying to move with the arrows. So what you can do is you have the same thing here with location. So, and you can move him like this. Sometimes it's easier. So that's going to be the X-axis, which is like forward, and then the Y-axis. So X, Y, and Z is just, coordinates in this 3D world. So up and down is Z. In this case, front and back is X, and left and right is Y, okay? So let's put him here. Boom. Okay, and then let's add a little, let's keyframe what we just did. So now check this out. Now he's moving. So let's play the animation and see if it works. Okay, the only thing that's annoying is that he's not really reacting in the, like he's not making footstep, but it is possible to do it in Unreal Engine. Honestly, I'm not sure how to do it yet, so I did not include it in this tutorial, but we're gonna add more details. It's still really cool. Okay, I love it. It's really cool. The only thing is that he's very silhouette. So let's say if we had a fill light, and that's what they do in the big movies, is they add a bit of fill light. So I want to do that because I want to see the gentleman a little more. So I'm going to go to my light folder, and I'm going to go to plus. I'm going to go to light, spotlight, boom. And we have a spotlight. So let's press G again to see what the spotlight looks like. G, here's a spotlight, and you can see what it's doing. It's so a spotlight has basically a circle, how it's affecting. It's called the outer cone. You see, let's make it a bit smaller. Let's press E to rotate it on this axis here. I wanted to go on the Mandalorian. So where are you? And okay, what's going on here? Why are you not going on the Mandalorian? Okay, and one thing you can do is you can make the intensity really strong, so you can see what you're doing with this light. Let's move it around. I think I don't have it in the proper position. It must be way back. Yeah, you see now it's on the Mandalorian. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. I'm doing it too strong. Let's go like this, and let's maybe go source radius. Let's see here. Outer cone angle. Let's make it bigger. Yeah, not too big. See, because I don't want the light to go on the sand. I only want it to go on the Mandalorian. And then let's see here is. So let's move it closer to him. Okay, let's play E for rotate again. And come on, where are you? Yeah, you're here. I guess I'm just not in the right spot. It's kind of hard to tell sometimes because you're evolving in a 3D world. And yeah, okay, here we are. Here we are. Perfect. So now, okay, that's good. So now I know I'm on him, and I'm gonna make this. Yeah, I'm gonna make this a little bigger. The outer cone just a little bit bigger. Voila. And I'm gonna press G so that we don't see all these icons, which is kind of annoying. Okay, now this is way too bright. You see the spotlight now really makes him bright. I just didn't like the silhouette look. So what you can do, I made 160 CD, whatever that means. It's the power of it. You see, that's without light. A little bit. I just want to open the shadows just a tad so we can see a little bit of shadows on his face. And let's see, but if he moves, let's see here. You see, yeah, he goes out. But that's fine. At least we have some kind of light on him at the beginning. Yeah, that's fine. It's just a little bit at the beginning, which is kind of cool, and then he goes in a shade. It's fine. It could be like that there is some kind of reflection there. It's just so we can see it better. Oh, I love this little animation. And now, to make it even more cinematic, I'm going to add a camera animation. So one thing I forgot to tell you, which is very important. You see, when he walks, first he's slow, then he gets faster, and then when he gets to the end, he slows down again. So to avoid that, you want to right-click on this little circle here. You're going to right-click, and you want to make it a linear keyframe and not cubic. Basically, with linear, and same thing here with the camera. Linear is going to make that he's going to walk at the same speed all the time. That's all. Instead of slowing down when he gets to the end, he's walking at the same speed. Okay, I really like that. I really, really, really like that. I like the fact that we have a lot of sky, and the sky is beautiful. We see the sun. Okay, so now let's move the camera. Let's move the camera. So you click on the camera. I already have, I remember I did a little keyframe there. So let's move toward the end. And what do we want to do? So let's just move a little bit around. We want to just maybe move a little bit like that. That's just enough. And then you press here on transform. And check this out. Now we got two animations. He's moving, and then the camera is moving. The sun is moving. Everything is moving. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. The Mandalorian. All right. Okay, cool. So now, the next thing, I could stop here. So I'm going to show you, let's say you just want to use this as a graphic. You really like that, and you're like, oh, I want to show that to the world. Really like this graphic. What you can do is you can go here, and where it says screen percentage, you can put, if you have a lower graphic card, do like only 100. But if you have like me, a big one, like a powerful one, do 1 in 10. That's just going to increase the quality of the rendering. And then you go here, you click here again. You go here to a high resolution screenshot. And then I put usually 2. 2 is going to make it like a 4K, I think. Capture. And here you can click here, up, boom. And it shows you where it's usually in the same folder under screenshot. It creates a screenshot. And then voila, you've rendered your first scene, which is that. So he's a little bit blurry. Oh, I didn't do the focus, but I'm looking at the scene rendered, and I kind of like it. But there's still things we can do to make it better. So you can stop the tutorial here, or I'm just going to make it better. It's going to be a little more advanced from now on, but why not? Let's make it even more awesome with more details. So first thing first, I want to make sure that he's very sharp. So the camera, which is here, I'm going to click here and I'm going to go on focus setting, and I'm going to focus, click here, and I said I want to focus the Mandalorian. So now whatever happens, he's always going to be sharp and in focus, which is kind of cool. And everything else is not going to be in focus. So a small detail. And if you click here on Draw Debug Focus Plane, you can see in purple the focus plane. So you see the Mandalorian is always in focus, which is kind of cool. But we don't need that. It's just to show you. Okay, so that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. All right. So I want to add maybe some grass here and some rocks to make it even more awesome. Maybe just a bit of grass. So what you can do is you can go back to Content Browser, right click as usual, add Quixel content, and let's go to desert. You see there's some, spinach, that's not good. Marron grass, why not? Dune, sword edge. Ooh, dune sword edge could be cool. So let's take the highest quality download. Let's take that. Then what else do we have? Seaweed, no. I want like really dry. So you can go, what you can do is you can go to 3D plants and you can type dry. You want some really dry stuff. I mean, this is Tatooine. Tatooine is very dry, mesdames et messieurs. Let's go to grass. I want some dry grass. Where's the dry grass? Wild dry grass. What is the driest grass that you have? That's, yeah, look at that. They took photos of everything. It's kind of crazy. Oh, nah. Maybe that. Let's get that. Let's get that. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, maybe let's get that too. And that's going to be heavy because it's, we're downloading a lot of that. So just so you know, the way this works, let me put this in full screen. Whenever you download something, if you go to local, it's going to be whatever is on your hard drive. So you see, local is the last 4 things we did. Oh, I also took this one called Dead Finish, which is kind of cool. Wild grass. Yeah, I like that. So then to put it in the software, you just click here, that little blue arrow. Okay, this one, I think they're too big. This one maybe boom, and this one, let's go boom. Okay, and then you minimize that. And now check this out. If you go to Megascan, you got a new folder called 3D Plant, and it's got a whole bunch of plants for you. Okay, and what you can do is, what I like to do is I like to position them myself. Especially on this, I just want a bit of detail. So I can just drag and drop this here. And I think this is way too big, so I'm going to lower the size. Oh, you see, it's only lower the size on one axis. So I'm going to do this to undo. And you see that lock here? You lock it, and that way you can just make this smaller. Yeah, I just want a little bit of details. I don't want it too much. A little bit of thing here on the floor, here and there. It's like branches and stuff like that. And you want to make sure it's really in the sand, kind of thing. Okay, let's take this. You see, that's it basically moves things by increments. So I'm going to take that out. I'm going to rotate. I'm going to take all these increments out because I want to position this really well. So remember E to rotate it. You want to make sure it follows a slope. Same thing with this one. They're really out of focus, which is okay because what's happening is, yeah, I want to make sure it's in the ground. It's in the goddamn ground. It just adds a little bit of a realism to the whole thing, to maybe this one's a little big, so make it smaller. And let's see here. There's so much. It's not even funny. There's so much. And I like to position it that way, especially because I'm only doing it for the foreground. This is way too big. Come on, go much smaller. Yeah, I don't want it too big. I just want to add a bit of texture to what's going on here. And then we can do the same thing with stones. Yeah, let's see what else we have here, what kind of grass we have there. Yeah, it's good, but it's a bit big. So let's just position. I'm not going to put much. There is another mode where you can paint it really fast, but because this one I want to be very precise, I'm just randomly posting stuff, just randomly doing that. And then let's look at it here now with a little animation. Yeah, this one is floating up in the air. Actually, I just realized. This one's also, you have to make sure that it's not floating up in the air. This one has to be, you're better off having it in the ground than floating up in the air. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. So let's see the beginning. I think I want to position the sun to be even more, you see, because on, yeah, it's actually kind of cool. It's actually kind of cool. Now, because I want the shadows to, come straight into the camera. So let's see if we can move our sun a little bit more. Control L, let's go like that. A little lower, yeah, like that. Let's see what happens there if we play the animation. Yeah, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. And, okay, one more thing that I added as a little bonus for you guys is if you go here to Effect and you go to Particle, you've got a folder called Dust. And there's different dust. If you just drag and drop the dust there, you're not going to see much because it's what we call a particle system. It just creates dust. But for the final render, it can be kind of cool. So I'm adding this big dust, and then I'm going to add some small dust. It's not going to make a huge difference. I'm adding a lot of dust just to add a bit of particle up in the air. And voila. So that's one thing you can do. And the next thing, just to do some more color correction, and that's also a little advanced, but I always like to do that. So you go here to here, and you go to cinematics or light, no, volume, no, visual effects. Yes, post-process volume. That's what you're looking for. So the post-process volume is going to be the retouching of this final scene. So the first thing, when you have it, make sure you right-click and you move it to the light folder here. Boom. So it's on the light folder. The next thing you need to do is you need to go here and search for the parameter called bound. Just a BOU. And you see you have this parameter called infinite extent unbound. Just press that. And what that's going to do is that what you do here is going to be applied everywhere on your world, which is what we want, which is kind of cool. So we want that. And then the next thing we can do, now once we've done that, we can really set the light that we want. So what I like to do is I like to go on the post-process volume, and I like to play around with a few settings. So I like to go to exposure, and I like to use metering mode and exposure compensation. And so you take metering mode and you put it on manual. It's going to go all black. And now you got your exposure compensation, and you can decide exactly how bright or dark you want the scene to be. I want it to be a little bit more on the dark side of the Force. Okay? So that's the first thing that I do. The next thing that I do is I add a little bit of chromatic aberration, like very little, like 0.1 or 1. Now maybe 1 is too much, 0.5. What chromatic aberration is going to do is just going to distort your image and give it less of a, look, a computer look, okay? The next thing I like to do also is lens flare. Let's see, lens flare. Oh, lens flare is kind of cool on this one. Let's have a lens flare bokeh size. Let's make it big lens flare. Let's see how it's going to look on the animation now. We got a lens flare. A little bit of a lens flare. It's kind of cool. He's walking down Star Wars. The Mandalorian. I think I want to make him a little bit bigger. Let's choose the Mandalorian. He's here. I think he's a little small. So make him bigger. And then see what happens now if we have him a little bit bigger. So he's the star of our show, He is the star of our show. I think I want to make him bigger. I want to add one more light. Let's see if we add a little. I want to add one more light. It's going to be tricky, but I think he's too dark. I want to add one more light so that he's lit all the way. So where is our little light that we added? We added a light which I forgot. Spotlight is here. Okay, let's right click and put it to be into light so that we're very precise. Spotlight. And then so what you can do is you can hold on the Alt key on your keyboard and you can drag and it's going to create a new one. Okay, and this one, I'm going to press E for rotation. I want to make sure I want to rotate it. Yes, you see, so it's on him. And then I'm going to move it back a little bit. Okay, as soon as I move it back, the light goes away, which is really annoying. So Command Z to undo. Okay, and just gonna put it here. So you see, it's just a small thing, but it's gonna make him, yeah, look at that. He's a little more less silhouette. And I kind of like the fact that he's silhouette. It's just, and you can add more lights if you want to, but it's just a small thing. And I think I want to make the Mandalorian even bigger than that. Let's select him again. In scale. Oh, I didn't make him bigger. What's going on? Oh, I see. Because I have a transform. Okay, I understand. So you have to go here. I'm going to make him bigger, and then I have to go to transform and create a new keyframe so that it remembers that he is like big like that. And when I go back here, so what was the value at first? So 1.68. He has to have the same size at the end. So I go at the end of the animation, and I'm making him as big, 0.68, something like that. Yeah, about like that. Okay, and then let's make a transform point. So now he is going to be much bigger. And you can tweak this forever. You can tweak this forever. But it's a general idea. This software is so cool. I mean, can you imagine? If I didn't have to make a tutorial, I probably could do this in 10 minutes. Like, come on. What software can give you that kind of result in 10 minutes? Okay, and then look at this beautiful, beautiful Star Wars. So now, okay, and now it's time to render this thing here. Oh, I want to add a couple of things. I want to add maybe like a little spaceship and some smoke in the back. So I need to put in I'm going to add some assets in the basic pack. I'm going to show you. All right, so here we are. Let me show you the animation. I had a little bug, and so I had to restart the project and redo the animation of the Mandalorian. So it's a little different than what you just saw, but kind of similar, same technique. And so I just want to add a little spaceship and some fire in the back, and then we're going to render the animation just to make it a little more fancy. A little more fancy. So let's start with the fire. So I added in the starter pack that you can download. You go to effects, you go to particles, fire, and you take this large fire here, and check this out. Look at that large fire. It's crazy. It's distorting the image. It's great. I want to put it behind, yeah, like above the sun, between the Mandalorian and the sun, like something just happened. Check it out, now with fire. It's like just drag and drop, and it's including the starter file. So you get the fire, something just happened behind the hill. We don't know what it is. What did you do, Mendo? What did you do again? Something's happening. And then let's have a little spaceship fly over there. So I added also for you, free, I added his spaceship, which is called the Razor. And here's a spaceship. So you can just drag and drop the Razor crest. And then I'm going to so this one is not texture. It's also from Sketchfab. You can see who modeled it back in, I didn't add texture on this one. So we're just going to use it as a silhouette, like really far. I'm just putting it far away like this. And then maybe we're just going to make it fly over. So let's go back to the animation. Let's drag the crest into the animation. Boom. Okay, it starts here, so we're going to put a keyframe here, and then we move the crest like that, for example. Oh, sorry. Now, first you have to move that, and then you move the crest across the the screen, and then do another keyframe. And now let's look at our animation. We get the fire going, we get the shadows, the spaceship is flying over. It's pretty cool. It's time to render. All right, so now it's time to render. And so the thing is, before you render, you make sure that you see the walking, in purple, that's the walking. Make sure that the green, that's the in point, what we're going to render. Make sure that he's already walking and the out point is already there. That way, the animation is going to go from here. You don't want it to go from here where like he's not walking. You want it to go from here, so he's already walking. Space bar, boom. He's walking, spaceship is above, fire behind him. Lots of things going on. Okay, so normally you should use this render this movie option. You should use this option here, but we have to install a plugin because we're using particles, and for particles to work properly, you need to use something called the movie render queue, which is kind of the new way to render in Unreal Engine. So for that, you just have to go to Edit, Plugin, and you type movie render. And you see here, movie render key, by default, it's off. You just turn it off. And when you do that, it's going to ask you to restart. Make sure you save and restart. And now, once you've done that, you just click here, and you have this new thing called movie render queue. It's only appears if that plugin is in. It's a little bit, whatever. And then, so I'm going to start from, click to render. You want the Star Wars sequence that we just created. And then in settings, you go here. I don't want to do JPEG. I want to do like PNG. PNG is better. And then we're going to use a free software called Vinci Resolve to make it into a movie. So PNG, I'm just going to add it as, you want to add a PNG sequence, which I did. Yes, sorry, no. Where's PNG? PNG is here. So PNG is just better quality than JPEG. You want to add the anti-aliasing. The anti-aliasing, basically the anti-aliasing is just something that's going to make it look better. And all you have to do, I hate to say that to you, but you just put 16 and 16, and that's just going to make a better render, okay? Now, what's very important, because we're using particles, we want to use camera cut for render, render warm-up frames. You want to make sure this one is true, and you want to make sure anti-aliasing is none. So no anti-aliasing, and we have this. This is just going to take a little bit more time to render. It's still real time. I mean, it's not quite real time. It's still fast, but it's going to give you a better quality. So it's a little, I hate to tell you something without explaining you like the whole philosophy, but anti-aliasing is something that makes, that used to make it in a way that low resolution file looks smoother, okay? And, but sometimes when you do that, it adds stuff, when we're so advanced now in 3D, that's my understanding of it, that by using this and this, spatial like this samples, all that is going to do is make a better rendering. Okay, let's put it that way. So we want that, accept, and then, I forgot to say where I want it. So output, you go to output. Let's do a 4K. 4K is, so it's 3840 by, you just double this number by 2160. Okay, I want 4K, and then I want to put it, I'm going to put it on the desktop, because we've been doing the desktop for now. Voila. And then, yeah, I guess that's it. And then we render. And then we render remote, I guess, is to render somewhere like with some cloud thing. No, we're local, guys. We're local people. And it's going to render in a beautiful 4K video just for you. You could use like any frame of that. You could use, as a frame. It's going to take like maybe about 10 minutes. So in the meantime, what we're going to get is a whole bunch of photos. Okay, so the idea is now I'm in DaVinci Resolve and we're going to get this result. Let me show you in full screen. It's not perfect because we don't see his footstep, but as a beginner exercise, it's really good. So how did I do that? It's pretty straightforward. I did a really cool tutorial on DaVinci Resolve. If you don't know how to use this free software, it's amazing. You can click here. I'm going to put also the link under this video of my Unreal Engine tutorial. But just to show you really quick, so I'm in the edit module. I'm just going to create a new bin that I'm going to call Star Wars 2, because I already did it, just to make sure everything worked. I'm in the bin. The bin is empty. And then I'm just going to drag and drop. I'm just going to drag and drop all the PNG files that we got. And the good thing is, in here, and as soon, drag and drop them. And as soon as I do it, it's actually already made into a sequence. So all you have to do is you have to go to the media mode, click here on the 3 dots and make sure that frame display mode is on sequence. By doing that, when I drag and drop, it created a sequence. I'm going to right click and create a new timeline using clip. I can call it whatever I want, and boom, it's done. And then, I went to Epidemic Song and I added a whole bunch of sound, and the final result that I got is this. And also, guys, if you want to learn Unreal Engine, I have a paid masterclass that's really cool where we're going to do a crazy project. You're going to learn even more than on this video if you like my kind of teaching. And I'm going to show you how to create like portrait and put them into Real Engine. So the link is under this video.
All right, guys, I hope you like this tutorial. If you do, please like the video, share the video, subscribe. It's very important. It takes 2 seconds, but it makes a huge difference. And don't forget to get my masterclass. You get a special price. The link is right under this video if you really want to master this amazing, amazing software. I'll see you in another video.